Hello, everybody. I'm here to offer you a wonderful opportunity that people have been asking me about wherever I go. People are asking me, how can we see the same move of God in our country as is happening in the Ukraine? Will you come and do a conference? Will you come and preach in our church? And the invitations are just too many. So that's why I've decided to start a Bible school in every country. So right now we have started one in America, we've started one in France, we've started one in Holland, we've started one in Germany. Now it's time for England. So we're starting a History Maker Bible School in the city of London from September 25th. So I'm inviting everybody that wants to be a part of this great move of God that God is pouring all over Europe, that you should come and be a part of this Bible school. It's just a weekend Bible school, 1 weekend a month. So you don't need to leave your job, you don't need to leave your family, you don't need to leave your church, just one Saturday in a month. You can do that. Please get in touch with us by contacting the telephone and the email on the screen after this program. God bless you and welcome to History Makers Bible School. Now, the message I want to preach today is a kind of help to each one of you to discover your destiny, to help you discover. It's kind of a navigator to help discover your place in God. So this message is going to be in form of questions that I'm going to be asking you, and I would like you to write them down. Then I would like you to provide the answers to all these questions, maybe this week or in the years to come. Find time to pray over these questions I'm going to be asking you, and find time to give an adequate and thorough answers to each one of them, and to do it prayerfully. Because if you do, that might be a kind of push for you to get to the place where God is preparing for you in life. There was a time that I had to sit down and answer these questions. And the answers that I have to them, they actually provide for me, they provided for me what I was going to do in the next 20 years of my life. So these questions that I'm going to ask you, they will help you to be able to answer questions like, where and what will you be doing in the next 20, 50 years of your life? You could even be able to get an answer to whatever is going to be happening to you for the rest of your life, or where you will be and what you'll be doing. So, because this is important to know, because it is important for us to know who we are. If we don't know who we are in God, and to be sure of ourselves and who we are, we will never be able to make a difference in life. In the book of Exodus, chapter 3, Exodus chapter 3, we all know that story. From verses 9 to 11. Exodus chapter 3, from verses 9 to 11, it says, "Now therefore, behold, the cry of the children of Israel is come unto me, and I have also seen the oppression wherewith the Egyptians oppressed them. Come now therefore," God was talking to Moses now, "come now therefore, and I will send thee unto Pharaoh, that thou mayest bring forth my children, the children of Israel, out of Egypt." Then verse 11 says, "And Moses said unto God, Who am I, that I should go unto Pharaoh, and that I should bring forth the children of Israel out of Egypt?" God himself came to Moses, because God was sure that this is the man that will be able to accomplish the task of becoming a deliverer, to deliver a nation from bondage. This week, God has come to us. But there was an impediment on the way of Moses becoming who God wanted him to become. And the same impediment could be on our way today. That is, God himself. This is God showing up. But even after God had shown up, Moses still could not move forward. He was standing before God, and God was telling him, you are going to be a deliverer. You are the one I'm going to use to deliver my people. And Moses was standing before God there and saying, me, no chance. And you know the reason why he couldn't believe even God being in the presence of God himself? Very simple. The simple reason why Moses couldn't move forward and couldn't advance to fulfilling his destiny, and it's a huge destiny of being a deliverer, is first of all because the task seems too big for him. Secondly, he didn't know, and he was not sure of his personality. And that is what I want to stop on today. That was actually the main reason that Moses doubted his mission. In verse 11 he says, and Moses said unto God, who am I? Who am I that I should go unto Pharaoh? Who am I? Who am I? Could you see something here? Could you see that the problem and the fault he had was his own self-image? Low self-esteem. His own opinion of himself was not so high. It was too low. He had a low self-esteem. He didn't believe in himself. He was not sure he's capable of doing it. It's just like talking to you all today and saying, go take New Zealand back to God. You're thinking, I'm not even a member of the party. I'm not even a millionaire. I don't even have influence. Nobody even knows me. Look at Pastor, look at these other guys. They are not even able to do it. Talking about me, I'm even far from them. Look at all these famous people. They are not even able to take New Zealand back. Talk like so. Me? You like it or not? Maybe you have thought about that, or maybe you have not even considered that yet. But still, every one of us has to face that kind of challenge. And that challenge is before you, even if you don't talk about it, even if you don't realize it yet. So we have spoken a lot this week about you going for it, becoming a king, but within you, somewhere, you could be thinking, well, I might be able to do some little insignificant things somewhere, but not to that level of taking a nation. I might be able to make a difference in my school or somewhere in my neighborhood, but I'm not really sure I could go further than that. I might be able to make some difference in my family, but who will allow me to go further? I'm not the best of students. I'm not the smartest of men. So these are the real life questions that you encounter on your way to becoming who God wants you to become. Now, the God of heaven that had seen it proper for you, not people in Auckland, but you, to be counted worthy to receive this message, knows what he's doing. If he made a way and he made it possible that it is you he had entrusted this word into, not some other people that you feel are even better fit or could do a better job or might be better than you, but it is you God has chosen. So just like with Moses, God knew that Moses could do the job. Even though God saw all his weaknesses. He couldn't talk. He was a stammerer. All the impediments that were not supposed to allow him to be fit to play this role. God knew those weaknesses. Yet, God was telling him, you are going to be the one. And that is a challenge. You think God doesn't know your weaknesses? He knows you are not perfect yet. He knows them better than you do. You know why? You know what? I will tell you something more. He even knows those weaknesses that are yet to come up. Yet, despite that, he's decided to entrust a calling into your hands. So, but if you say you don't have a challenge, dreaming big and believing big, removing all the hurdles and hindrances, that I could be the maximum, I could be the best, I could really conquer the land, then you are not being sincere. Because anytime God gives you a God-sized vision, it will always overwhelm you. Unless you don't embrace that vision. If you really embrace the vision, or that God, if you really embrace whatever God is telling you to do, you will always look and seem inadequate. The question Moses was asking was legitimate, humanly speaking. Who am I? Normally, your size and your opinion of yourself, no matter how self-confident you are, will always look much more smaller than the vision God is commanding you to do. No matter how self-confident you are, no matter how good you are, by the time God shows up and begins to tell you the vision he's asking you to do for him, you begin to think, my, I am nothing. Unless that vision is from God. Because if it's from you, then you could size it to your own size. But if it's God, God sizes it to his own standard. It becomes God's size vision, not your size vision. But if that is a situation that we will all come up with, then how do we overcome it? Is there a way of helping us navigate through all those doubts and questions and lack of self-confidence to actually embracing the vision and then coming to the place where we will know for sure, because of these signposts, that I will get to where I'm supposed to get to? So the questions I'm going to pose to you today, we are going to act like signposts to you that will navigate you, that will help you to know how to move, how to step, where to place your feet, and how to get to your destination. So, in fulfilling destiny, the question that we all need to face is the question of, who am I? Am I fit? Am I ready? The question of self-affirmation and self-assessment is a question that must be answered by all. Now, this question was not just a question that Moses needed to face and answer for himself. Even the Lord Jesus Christ got to a point that he needed to answer, and he needed his people, his team, to answer the question who he was. So in Matthew chapter 16, verse 13 to 18. Matthew 16, verses 13 to 18. Matthew 16, verses 13 to 18. When Jesus came into the coast of Caesarea Philippi, he asked his disciples, saying, whom do men say that the Son of Man is? Or the Son of Man am? And they said, some say that thou art John the Baptist, some Elias, and others Jeremiah, and other, and one of the prophets. He said unto them, but whom say ye that I am? And Simon Peter answered and said, thou art the Christ, the Son of the living God. And Jesus answered and said unto him, blessed art thou, Simon Barjona, for flesh and blood hath not revealed it unto thee, but my Father who is in heaven. And I say unto thee that thou art Peter, and upon this rock I will build my church, and the gates of hell shall not prevail against it. So even Jesus, before he could leave the earth, and before he could count his mission successful, needed to be sure he's not just the only one who knows who he is. He needed to be sure those people he was going to leave the vision with to accomplish also must know who he was. So he needed for that question to be answered about his personality as well. So you don't have anywhere to run to. You've got to stand at a point and say, how do I assess myself? Who am I? How far can I go? How can I get there? Where am I going? So there are questions in life, about life, that even everybody is supposed to answer. And I tell you what, only the people who successfully answer these questions become somebody in life. Either you are a secular person, or you are a believer, or you are a non-believer. Either you are living in Japan, or you are living in America, or you are living in India, or you are living in Nigeria. Doesn't matter where you live. If you are able to answer these questions, just answering to yourself, there is no way you will not be a world changer, or a history maker, or a mover and a shaker. These are some of the most crucial questions in life. The questions that will help you to come to a place where you find out and discover who you are, why you are here, and why you are going. Through ages, just reading through the philosophy, the philosophy of the great philosophers, Greek philosophers, Roman philosophers, these questions keep on coming up over and over again. What is the purpose? What is the reason for man? What is the purpose for his life? Where is he coming from? Where is he going? So there's a similar questions I want to pose to you today, for you to know you are not here by accident, and for you to know that being here on the earth does not mean just eating good food, going to some work and having some job, giving back to some children, then growing up and dying. What a pain that would be if that is all what life is about. The greatest of all these things is maybe having children, but when those children are 18 and 20, what are you left to do if that is what you are created to do? Those are just some benefits of life, but that's not the reason for the creation of life, for your creation. So, what are those questions? I have 7 of them for you. 7 of them. And I hope you will find time to work on them. By the time these questions began to come up in my spirit, that's a good bird. By the time these questions began to come up in my life, it got to a time that I decided to lock myself up, to go out from everybody, from wife, from kids, from the church, just to go seek the face of God, so that I will not answer these questions from my own understanding. I needed the divine connection. I needed the cooperation of the heavenlies. I needed the whisper of eternity. I needed to see into the mind of the one that sent me here. And I needed to hear his answers to these questions. So I took a week off, locked myself then, no food, just bottle of water. And I was praying between 10 to 20 hours every day. And I'm glad to say I came out of there knowing what I would do for the rest of my life. Not just knowing that I'm going to be a preacher. I already was a preacher. But knowing exactly what follows what. Beautiful life. Lives become beautiful when the graphics of it are clear before you. Another person I would like to mention that knew who he was before he could accomplish what he accomplished was John the Baptist. He called himself a voice. In the book of Luke, chapter 3, from verses 4 to 6, we saw the man, John, 4 to 6. As it is written in the book of the words of Isaiah, the prophet, saying, the voice of one crying in the wilderness, prepare. That's a definite call. Not just any voice. No, voice saying, giving a concrete message. What concrete message? Prepare ye the way of the Lord. That was his calling. He had a mission to it. Prepare the way for the coming of the Lord. That's it. So everything he did was all in accordance to that mission. Make his path straight. Then if you do that, he says, keep on prophesying the result of obedience. As you prepare the way of the Lord and cry in the wilderness, every valley will obey you, and those valleys shall be filled. Every mountain, even the hills, shall be brought low, just in obedience. You know, that's what will happen to every one of us as we obey the heavenly vision. Those mountains, those things that are challenging to you today, those things that look unsurmountable, the hills that makes you to think, who am I? Just like Moses had a mountain of doubt and saying challenges. I would never be able to do this. But when you obey the divine instructions of God, and that's why I want to give you these questions, those mountains become low. Those mountains become flat before you. You walk through them. And those things that look like a valley, how will I ever pass through? I would drown. You will not drown if you are going to just follow the divine instruction. He says, even the valleys will be filled up so that you walk without any hindrance whatsoever. And the crooked ways, the things that are tough to understand, they will be made straight. The rough ways, don't worry about them. If you are obeying, following divine instructions, those rough ways, they'll be made smooth. Then there will be men and women that will stand to testify that yes, great things has the Lord done through this obedient man. That's what he says. And all flesh shall see. That is going to be your testimony in Jesus' name. All flesh shall see. When you obey, the result shall not be hidden. It shall be seen by all flesh. that when a man obeys the leadings and instructions of heaven, results follow. Results follow. And John proved that. Jesus proved that. Moses proved that. So, what are these questions that I feel could help you to get there? Number one question that everybody that wants to be a history maker must answer. You want to be a man of significance, a mover and a shaker in your generation. Number one question. That is the same question that Moses asked. You need to ask it. And you must get the answer before you can move on and do something of meaning in life. That question is simple and it says, who am I? That's what Moses said. Who am I? Who am I to face this challenge? Who am I to resolve this situation? Who am I? My friend, we all must come to a place where we need to answer that question. All of us ask that question to ourselves, but not all of us take the time to answer. If you just keep on asking that question and you never get the answer to it, you never get to act because it paralyzes you. But when Moses got the answer to the question, who am I? You know what he did? He stepped out. You know the reason why most of us are not stepping out yet? We didn't get the answer to that question yet. Hello, everybody. I'm here to offer you a wonderful opportunity that people have been asking me about wherever I go. People are asking me, how can we see the same move of God in our country as is happening in the Ukraine? Will you come and do a conference? Will you come and preach in our church? And the invitations are just too many. So that's why I've decided to start a Bible school in every country. So right now we have started one in America, we've started one in France, we've started one in Holland, we've started one in Germany. Now it's time for England. So we're starting a History Maker Bible School in the city of London from September 25th. So I'm inviting everybody that wants to be a part of this great move of God that God is pouring all over Europe, that you should come and be a part of this Bible school. It's just a weekend Bible school, 1 weekend a month. So you don't need to leave your job, you don't need to leave your family, you don't need to leave your church, just 1 Saturday in a month. You can do that. Please get in touch with us by contacting the telephone and the email on the screen after this program. God bless you and welcome to History Makers Bible School. Hello, everybody. I'm here to offer you a wonderful opportunity that people have been asking me about wherever I go. People are asking me, how can we see the same move of God in our country as is happening in the Ukraine? Will you come and do a conference? Will you come and preach in our church? And the invitations are just too many. So that's why I've decided to start a Bible school in every country. So right now we have started one in America, we've started one in France, we've started one in Holland, we've started one in Germany. Now it's time for England. So we're starting a History Maker Bible School in the city of London from September 25th. So I'm inviting everybody that wants to be a part of this great move of God that God is pouring all over Europe, that you should come and be a part of this Bible school. It's just a weekend Bible school, 1 weekend a month. So you don't need to leave your job. You don't need to leave your family. You don't need to leave your church. Just one Saturday in a month. You can do that. Please get in touch with us by contacting the telephone and the email on the screen after this program. God bless you and welcome to History Makers Bible School. What are these questions that I feel could help you to get there? Number one question that everybody that wants to be a history maker must answer. Want to be a man of significance, a mover and a shaker in your generation? Number one question. That is the same question that Moses asked. You need to ask it, and you must get the answer before you can move on and do something of meaning in life. That question is simple, and it says, who am I? That's what Moses said. Who am I? Who am I to face this challenge? Who am I to resolve this situation? Who am I? My friend, we all must come to a place where we need to answer that question. All of us ask that question to ourselves, but not all of us take the time to answer. If you just keep on asking that question and you never get the answer to it, you never get to act because it paralyzes you. But when Moses got the answer to the question, who am I? You know what he did? He stepped out. You know the reason why most of us are not stepping out yet? We didn't get the answer to that question yet. By the time you begin to authentically answer yourself that question, you will be so full of boldness that any kind of mountain that is standing before you will look like a plain ground. Any kind of valley that is standing before you will look like a smooth ground. Any kind of rough pathway, you will know that's no challenge. By the time you begin to answer that question. So when I got to Russia, he's a black man in Europe. Then it's one thing as a black man in Europe I studied to be a journalist. So it's one thing to just be a journalist and just work in the secular, just have a job. I could still try to, make my way and be a good journalist. It's one thing for me as a black man to be a businessman. Okay? Try, work hard, buy and sell. But then to try to build a church in a continent where people are so proud of their inheritance or they don't care for it. These are people who believe we rule the world. Nobody rules us. We rule the world. Then where are you coming from? From Africa. We just set you free 60 years ago from colonialism. What do you want to come and do? You don't want to come and work and do some menial jobs? You want to come and do what? Teach us how to live? No, wait a minute. It's easier for us to send you back to where you're coming from. We'll just deport you. I'm talking of societies. I'm talking of a society where kids were running up to me and saying, Mommy, why has uncle not taken his bath? Why is this so dirty? And now I want to change. Wait a minute. They will even think you've lost your mind. Sincerely. With all seriousness, they will think this guy has lost his mind. It's not common. It's not. So I needed to answer that question. So I needed to push into God. Who am I? I'm a believer. Well, are there few believers in the land? None of them is saying, I'm going to change the country. Even though you are a believer, we have believers who are better looking than you. We have believers who are citizens. We have believers who have passport and registration. We have believers who are businessmen. We have believers who are successful. We have believers who are somebody. Those are challenges. You must get an answer to that question. Because it's in that answer you get your boldness. It is in that answer you get your energy to go all the way, to make all this necessary sacrifice, to risk, and to still believe you will come out successfully. Who am I? I know I'm Sunday, but that's not enough. Who am I? I'm a believer, but that's rubbish. We have millions of them. I'm a pastor. Are you the only one? Who am I? That's when you begin to think, oh, I might be bigger than just my name. Oh, there might be something in me bigger than just my profession. Oh, there might be something about me bigger than what I do. And what is that? Destiny. God's mandate. Oh, okay. What was it? Let's find that out. That's what I'm talking about. You now understand why I was so desperate. I had to refuse the food, family for some time, fellowship, telephone calls, church. I needed to get this answer if I'm really going to make any significance or any difference in the society where God has placed me. And I got the answer. For me, I was a deliverer. For me, I was a Moses that needed to break his way through a path that has never been tread before. That should be ready to be hated by all. To be fought, to be resisted, to be challenged, and to still come through, because you discover I am means I can do it. If I am who he says I am, then I'm going to become so. Then I'm going to be able to do what he says I should do. He doesn't just send anybody here for nothing. Everyone is sent to the earth, he's got a mission for him. Only you must discover it. Nothing like, maybe I didn't really have any assignment. Nothing like that. Maybe I just kind of had I didn't have any vision by God. He never gave me any assignment or mission or purpose. I'm just the kind of guy that's supposed to be just here and no. There is nothing God does without a mission. He doesn't begin to create anybody to come to the world without have already determining in his heart the mission and the purpose for why he needed to create that person. That's why he's the Alpha and Omega. It means beginning and the end. That means he knows the end before he begins to create. What's your name now? Will you come here tomorrow? Could you tell us how old you are? 19. Tamala, right? Taimania. Now, Taimania, 19 years ago, you were conceived by your parents. They thought they just fell in love, and God blessed them with a baby daughter, but it's not true. Before God made them to meet each other, he had an assignment and a job description, a mission, a work that's supposed to be completed and accomplished somewhere called New Zealand. He had seen the cry of my people before he went to find Moses. The assignment always preceded the deliverer. So the cry, the problem of Egypt, the problem of bondage of Israel in Egypt was there a long time before Moses was born. It was for that problem God allowed him to be conceived. Following me? That's why when they were now killing all the boys, he couldn't get killed because he was conceived for an assignment. So God, therefore, is the Alpha and Omega. Is a beginning and the end in the same person, in the same place, at the same time. He first of all finishes it before he begins to create it physically. You getting me? So you are not here for fun. You are not here for waste. You are not here for nothing. But few men get to believe that. And few men really get to do what they were sent for because they never get to believe it. But because God needed that assignment, maybe you don't still know it yet, but there must be a time in your life when you begin to hear message like this. When God begins to trigger a search in you. When you begin to ask yourself some questions. But because there will be a lot of distractions as well. There is a time when you will be 22, maybe 23, maybe 25, and then you will see all your girlfriends getting married. Then you begin to think, maybe after all, I'm a woman, I'm just supposed to get married and get some children as well. And when you begin to do that, then you discover, oh, these kids take a lot of time. Well, maybe that's just a full-time assignment. So there are a lot of things to derail you. Such with men. Men begin to think, oh, guys are supposed to be tough. Maybe I'm supposed to just be a tough guy, a macho, having all lovers all around and just being tough and doing some radical things. Thereby losing or missing the eternal destiny for which heaven actually sent them here. We're all sent here on a mission. There will be a lot of distractions, like getting a good job. That could be a distraction. Because you think I have a good job, get a good salary, I'm okay. But you still begin to find out, despite the fact that I'm a Christian, have a good job, there's still some level of emptiness. I'm no more fulfilled. I'm not so happy. I'm doing well. I'm going good Christian, go to church, but no fulfillment. Because you must answer that question. Who am I? Am I just here to get a job? That would be a disgrace. That would be a laughter. Who am I? So, because God is Alpha and Omega, He had actually had the assignment you needed to do before you were actually conceived. That's why He spoke about Jeremiah. Before you were conceived in your mother's womb, that's before they met with the Father, I knew you. And I had appointed you to be somebody specific, a prophet. But he needed to get to that place. He needed to grow into it. Who am I? That's the first question. You need to ask yourself that question. And you need to ask God that question. And that's what makes the difference between achievers in life and just people who just add to the statistics. Thank you. So, who am I? That is a question of self-consciousness. Self-consciousness. And it is also a question of alignment with eternity. Alignment with eternity. Alignment with eternity. Alignment with eternity. And getting to the heart of God and getting to know concretely. Like John the Baptist, he was only supposed to assist another man. That's why he was born. Prepare the way. And once that is done, he had to go back to heaven. Then some people will say, oh, what a tragedy, he died so early. No, no, no. If God fulfilled. He didn't die tragically. No. He was taken home when he fulfilled. He had prepared the way. And the king had come. He had to withdraw.
Господь, я сегодня стою и из сердца Тебе я хвалу воздаю. Я не в силах молчать, буду петь и кричать. Аллилуйя! Я не буду смотреть по сторонам, все равно, что вокруг, мне не важно, что там. Я смотрю в небеса, и я вижу Христа. Я смотрю в небеса, и я вижу Христа. Хвалю, Тебя благодарю за то, что изменил Ты жизнь мою. Иисус, везде, всегда буду хвалить Тебя. Ты спас меня и спалю я Тебя. Народ Божий, подними громкий шум! Аллилуйя! Послушай! Это время хвалы, это время чудес. Пой о том, что Бог жив, знай о том, что Он здесь, знай о том, что сейчас Он касается нас. И вместе! исправлю я тебя. Аллилуйя! 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 Мы поклоняемся тебе. Народ Божий, восклицай, славь Его, превозноси Отца. Аллилуйя! Аллилуйя! Тебя хвалю! Тебя хвалю! Тебя благодарю за то, что изменил ты жизнь мою. Везде, всегда буду хвалить тебя, ты спас меня и славлю я тебя. Вот, я тобою дышу, я тобою живу, тебя, Боже, ищу, жажду тебя больше, чем вчера. О, Иисус, моя вера в тебя крепче день ото дня, и я буду хвалить тебя и славить, да, хвалить тебя и славить. Раз, два, три, го! Тебя хвалю, тебя благодарю за то, что изменил ты жизнь мою. Везде, всегда буду хвалить тебя, ты спас меня и славлю я тебя. А теперь соло! Аллилуйя! Ты Господь! Аллилуйя! Славь Его! Аллилуйя! Гитара! Раз, три! Будь прославлен, Владыка! Будь прославлен, Владыка всех миров! Мы поклоняемся тебе, великий, сильный, святой Бог! Ты достоин хвалы! Ты достоин славы! Мы превозносим тебя! We glorify your name! Oh Lord! We shout to you! We shout to your praise! Hallelujah! To you all praise! To you all praise! To you my thankfulness for everything that you've done in my life. Always forever! Always forever! I give my praise to you. You saved my soul and I will worship you. And one more time, all together. Oh, you, all praise to you, my thankfulness for everything that you've done in my life. Yeah, always, forever. I give my praise to you. You saved my soul and I will worship you. А теперь мир. Раз, два, три. Тебя хвалю, тебя благодарю за то, что изменил ты жизнь мою. Пой со мной.
Ah, Господь.
Скажи везде. Везде, всегда буду хвалить тебя. Ты спас меня и славлю я тебя. Вместе с музыкантами.
Hello, everybody. I'm here to offer you a wonderful opportunity that people have been asking me about wherever I go. People are asking me, how can we see the same move of God in our country as is happening in the Ukraine? Will you come and do a conference? Will you come and preach in our church? And the invitations are just too many. So that's why I've decided to start a Bible school in every country. So right now we have started one in America, we've started one in France, we've started one in Holland, we've started one in Germany. Now it's time for England. So we're starting a History Maker Bible School in the city of London from September 25th. So I'm inviting everybody. that wants to be a part of this great move of God that God is pouring all over Europe, that you should come and be a part of this Bible school. It's just a weekend Bible school, 1 weekend a month. So you don't need to leave your job, you don't need to leave your family, you don't need to leave your church, just 1 Saturday in a month. You can do that. Please get in touch with us by contacting the telephone and the email on the screen after this program. God bless you and welcome to History Makers Bible School.